Hello everyone and welcome to Casual Tech Review. I realized as I look back through some of my more recent videos that I haven't actually done a video about PC flipping. They've all been about market analysis and case reviews and things like that, but I haven't done a tried and true video talking about flips that I've had going recently. So in this video we're going to do just that. I'm going to walk you through 3 PC sales I made in a 10-day time span, 2 commission builds that I'm working on, and 1 really crazy flipping story. So stick around and you'll get all of that and more. A couple of months ago, I did a series of videos about comparing an AMD versus an Intel NVIDIA build. I'll put a card up in the corner here, but basically I took really similar parts, or as identical as I could, between 2 different PCs, one with AMD parts, one with Intel NVIDIA, and I wanted to see which one would sell first. The AMD build, as you can see here, sold actually before I even was able to post it up. I sold it for $850. It cost me $624.41. I made $225.59 on that one. I sold that one a month or 2 ago, so that's not the one I'm talking about. I finally sold the Intel build when I listed it about 3 weeks later. That build had a 12400F in the 3060 Ti, really similar, and I sold that one for $825. I had $672.66 in it, bringing my total profit to $152.34. Obviously, if we're talking about a competition here, the AMD build won that one. It sold really fast, and it sold for a higher profit. While I was working on the Intel and NVIDIA AMD build videos, the folks at Okanos reached out to me and offered to send me a case to review. I got the Aqua 5 in white, and I wanted to put some parts in it to make the sale, so I ended up getting the Ryzen 7 3800X, the 6650 XT, and some other stuff that's pretty standard for one of my builds, and I actually sold this one just a couple of days after listing it. I think 2 days after listing it, which was about a week after I sold the Intel build. That one I sold for $750, cost me $531.67. and the total profit on that one was $218.33. Somewhere in the middle of all that, I ended up snagging an incredible deal on eBay for a 3070 Ti. I got it for $212 shipped, which was an absolutely incredible deal. So I knew I wanted to put that in a pretty decent build, so I ordered the rest of the parts. Here's what I ended up putting in it. I got a Ryzen 7 5700X on eBay for $118.19, a Gigabyte B550 motherboard on eBay for around $80, 32 gigs of RAM, I think that was brand new on eBay, that was about $60, a 1 terabyte Kingston NVMe, I got that on Newegg, an EVGA 750 watt power supply on eBay for $47, a Thermalright Frozen Note 360 AIO, got that brand new, that was about $68, a Montec XR on Amazon, cable extensions, and a couple other things brought the total value of my all-in money on that one to $757.89, and I ended up selling that one for $900, bringing my total profit on that particular build to $142.11. The total profit for all 3 of these sales was $512.78, which I thought was awesome. That's really successful. I sold all 3 of these builds about 10 days apart, and considering how slow the market had been for me, I don't think I sold a single PC in the month of August, even though I had several listed. So this was a really good sign that the PC market in my area is coming back. Coming off of those 3 PC sales, I was really excited and things were going well. I ended up putting a generic post up on Facebook Marketplace, and I can't show it to you because Facebook deleted it after about 3 or 4 days. But it was basically just advertising that I would build custom PCs and show some examples of some of my work, and I actually had several people reach out to me as a result of that. The first one is a guy who, and this was really unique to me, I was not expecting this, but he reached out and he said that he was looking for a PC for a golf simulator. And I had never considered this as an option of somebody who'd be interested, but he said he wants it to be able to handle 4K, needs 20 gigs of free space, which is nothing, needs to be 3080 performance or better, and have 32 gigabytes of memory. He said he wasn't terribly particular on the GPU, although he did have ultimately a bit of a preference for NVIDIA. And he also didn't care about CPU, and I was going to recommend AMD, but we ended up coming back to Intel. I didn't know a whole lot about what the requirements would be for a golfing simulator PC, but he wasn't interested in the aesthetics, which was cool. I knew I could save some money on that. And he wanted to stay below $1,250. So I spec'd him out some parts, sent it to him, and he agreed. And then we had a deal. Met up, and he gave me half the money up front, and off I went. I'll go more into the specifics of the golf simulator PC in a separate video, but I did think it was pretty cool, and I am definitely going to start trying to get into advertising that as a service that I do specifically tailored towards the golf simulator PC, because apparently there's a market for it. The second commission build that I'm working on right now is actually for a 3-time repeat customer. He reached out to me and asked me how I've been, and honestly I had no idea where this conversation was going to go. But he came right out and said that he was looking for me to build a PC for his girlfriend. I sold him his computer several months ago, have had no problems with him. Then his friend reached out to me a month or two ago, and he's actually the one that bought the AMD PC. So yeah, now I'm about to build a third PC for him, and pretty much all he gave me was a $600 to $650 budget, and she wants some pink, white, and purple. So here's a little bit of the parts preview of what's going to go in that build. Again, I'll end up putting that one in probably another video. I haven't actually built the computer yet. It still is all in parts, but it's definitely nice to get a repeat customer coming back a third time for a PC. Just kind of validates the way I'm doing things and the kind of quality and service I'm providing to people. So I promised you a pretty crazy flipping story, and that's definitely what happened to me. So I normally will check out other PCs for sale in my market and look at what some of the other PC flippers are doing to kind of get an idea of how they're pricing their stuff and how everything looks and how I'm comparing to them. And I came across this PC and I thought, oh, that one looks really good. And it started to look kind of familiar to me, and I noticed that the AIO was just a certain way, and the graphics card and cable extensions looked really familiar. And indeed it did look familiar. So I pulled up the old ad of a computer that I sold and compared them, and yeah, that is definitely the exact same computer. Why is another reseller selling my computer? So I reached out to the buyer and I messaged him and I said, hey man, like, what happened? It looks like I see my PC that I sold to you, someone else is trying to sell. And he says, yeah, I was looking for you, but I couldn't find our chat. I wanted to sell it back to you. So I asked him, I said, hey man, is something wrong with it? And he said, no, he just ran into some financial problems and he had to sell it and he had to let it go. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? How could you not find our conversation? It's so easy. So then I was kind of curious and I didn't want to ask him. I reached out to the other seller and I said, hey, I see this looks familiar. And he says, yeah, he says he bought it from me, and I told him he didn't. And so he asked me what I sold it to him for, and I told him $900. And the guy that I sold it to this other seller for $650. So then he turned around, put it right back up on the market, took the graphics card support out, which I don't think is a good idea because it's a heavy graphics card, but that's his choice. He wants to own that. And then listed it back for $900. That'll be the easiest $250 he ever makes. I couldn't stinking believe it. The guy bought it from me and 2 weeks later sold it at a $250 loss. So that was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, but I guess weird things kind of keep happening, so I guess I should always expect something crazy when dealing with some of these people. But anyway, after I sold those 3 PCs in rather quick succession, I had a good amount of cash on hand. So I started going out and buying graphics cards. That's normally one of the first parts I try to buy, and I got some really good deals. I got these 2 EVGA RTX 3070s for $420 total. So that's $210 a piece. That's a great deal. They both work. They look great, in excellent condition. Got this 2070 Super for $125. So it seems like the market's picking back up. I was able to snag some really good deals and sell some PCs. I'm definitely really excited. The market seems to be picking up, and that's been good. I've been very, very busy. I've got some more really cool video ideas for you guys, including this. I will leave this picture as a little bit of a teaser for another video coming up that I think is pretty interesting. Also, I would love to hear from you guys if you want to leave me a comment with some case suggestions for more flips. I really love the fish tank design of the Montec XR, the Sama AnyView 4361, the Okeanos Aqua 5, but there are some others that are similar. So if you guys have an idea of a fish tank style case you'd like to see me do a build in, leave a comment, let me know which one. I would absolutely be happy to check one of those cases out. I appreciate everybody watching. Thank you so much for dealing with my scratchy voice again. I'm still getting over being sick, but I am trying to push forward and make some videos. Thank you very much, and I will see you all on the next one.